I recently had on the creator of Girls Gone Wild, Joe Francis, on my show, who is, love him or hate him, he's a media mastermind. I mean, he
Totally.
helped basically make the Kardashians and all this. And he's friends with Howard Stern. And to Joe Francis, I said, where's the old school Howard Stern? Like, he's gone woke, he's gone soft, he's gone all these things. And Joe Francis, and I want to get your take on this as someone so immersed in the business, he goes, I don't blame him, Taylor. He's like, he's up there in age. He's making a ton of money from SiriusXM. He's not going to rock the boat and risk it because money speaks louder than anything else. So what do you think about that?
Well, I think, first of all, that's a very powerful insight because that is true. He has to worry about the opinions of two people, his listeners and SiriusXM. If culture as a whole is transitioning over to being maybe not more woke, but more at least concerned with certain things that people are saying, he'll even tell you, like, he's a student of his ratings. And so, like, if his ratings go down because he's like tearing somebody up when he doesn't necessarily have to get very similar style of content, like, he still has that shock jock factor and still asks questions that most people wouldn't dare to ask. But it's because he's Howard Stern. He's earned the right to do it over the course of like 2.5 decades. And what made him famous isn't necessarily what's going to keep him famous because culture shifted so much over the course of his very long and tenured career.
That's true. I wonder how much do people actually want that? Because I think it actually was Joe Rogan, but somebody was like, dude, you've just become a cranky old man. Like, you're lecturing us about this. You're yelling at us about this. You're alienating people like this when it's like, I understand if you're not, it's a different time. I totally get if you're not going to bring a woman into the studio and be like, look at her tits. Yeah. Like that I can get. But I just wonder what would happen if he had some of that, like what made him intact. I don't know.
I personally don't think that he would lose a ton from it, but maybe he has insights into it that we don't have. Maybe he has an executive at Sirius breathing down his neck, or maybe the ratings were worse. Like, I don't know. Like, I can't think that they actually are, because I think that there's a bunch of people who are still the way that they were 2 decades ago and now just don't vocalize it because of fear of judgment or rejection. But yeah, like I said, maybe he has some insight that we don't have, or maybe he's just gotten softer in his old age. That's definitely something that happens. Like, the older people get, the more sentimental you get, the more you start realizing that things aren't the way that you thought they were when you were younger. Like, stuff changes and evolves over time. Maybe he's fallen victim to becoming a better person. Who knows?